Welcome to Rainy Day Rabbit Holes, where we take the history of the West off the rails.
If you like your history unhinged, you are in the right place.
I'm Shay.
And I'm Jody.
Let's fall down the rabbit hole.
All right. Ready?
All right.
Well, I feel like he would fit into the story.
He's a little out there.
And so is everyone in this town. All right, Shay, you ready to tumble down a wild rabbit hole today?
That's
I was
the
like,
wind.
where's the wind coming from?
That's the
I
wind.
totally bought it because I was looking down.
That's the wind with the tumbleweeds. I'm tumbling.
Okay, well, I don't think there's quite tumbleweeds in this story, but the wind blew a lot of smoke. How's that?
Okay. I can't do a sound of blowing smoke.
Yeah, that was when the wind did make an appearance in this story for sure. So today I've got a wild one for you. We are heading to Wallace, Idaho.
Wallace, Idaho.
Wallace, Idaho.
That exciting nightlife city of Wallace, Idaho.
It does have a nightlife. Okay, so here's how I'm just going to break down how I even got onto this story. On a road trip home from Yellowstone, we stopped for gas in Wallace, Idaho, with the intent of driving on home that night. And thought, okay, well, it's time to eat. Let's get something to eat. And then as we wandered through this town, we're like, this town has so much to see and so many interesting people. We ended up spending 24 hours there and then leaving the next day. So there, we visited the nightlife just to see, and it's small town nightlife. There are 6 bars open all night long, 5 people in each, but fun people. Like I don't think I ran into anyone that made me think this town is awful, or I need to leave the area, or how do I escape this situation and get in a different conversation. It was really just a fun,
That's nice.
impromptu 24 hours. So I feel like this town could have given us a whole season worth of stories. So I'm going to just do a whole brief on a whole bunch of stories about the history of Wallace, Idaho. It's a town so full of drama, silver, fires, brothels, and even a claim that they are the center of the universe.
That's Fremont.
There's several places that claim, but I'm going with Wallace. I just like that center of the universe so much. It was just a fun, funky town. So let's rewind. Let's go back to 1884. That's when Colonel William R. Wallace, a Civil War veteran turned mining entrepreneur, built a cabin in a place called Placer Center. He saw potential in the rugged terrain of northern Idaho, and that was nestled in the Silver Valley. And boy, oh boy, he was right. It's a Silver Valley. Wallace and his partner Richard Lockey bought 80 acres using something called the Sioux half-breed scrip.
Oh, that sounds lovely and not racist at all.
No, it's a controversial land claim method that later sparked legal chaos. So basically, they set up reservations for the Native Americans through the treaty process. So these areas that they dedicated to them. Well, they had a bunch of people that were mixed, right? The Native Americans. So people were saying, well, I'm part Native American. So, my dad's Native American, my mom's not. Where's my property? So they came up with scrip, basically a one-time payoff. We'll give you a plot of land. You cannot claim that you're Native and receive the benefits of living on a reservation or whatever. But
yeah, because in the 1800s, a lot of the settlers that would come west would take Native wives.
Yes.
They would start out as housekeepers, and then they would end up being bedkeepers
and baby makers.
And then some of them actually would try to marry them, but some of them were just using them the way that
kind of slaves
men use women that are
creating people that are half Native American, half not. Where do we put these people? Do they qualify for reservation benefits? No. So we're going to give them a one-time buyout of this scrip.
Okay.
But basically Wallace took advantage of that and sold to a lot of people who shouldn't have been sold to using that law.
Okay.
So yeah, basically starting as a corrupt little town.
Oh, fun.
It's the 1800s.
It's the West.
It's the West.
That's how we do it over here.
So by 1887, Wallace was booming. Saloons, hotels, a brewery, and a railroad line that had arrived.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. The town was officially incorporated and named after the colonel himself. But Wallace's story isn't just about silver, it's about survival. It sits on the heart of the Coeur d'Alene mining district, which has produced over 1.2 billion ounces of silver since 1884.
Wow.
It is still an active silver mine.
That's crazy.
People in the town still work there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, and you can go do a tour there. We did a tour. It's pretty interesting. It goes over, in 1884 how they mined, and then now how currently they mine.
Interesting.
And all the changes that it made. And our tour guide was, somebody who spent his whole life in the mine. And so he'd be like, okay, this is where I came in. I used to have to mine this way. Now my son uses this equipment and he mines this way. So passing down in the family, the work, just like old time mines.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is why Wallace is known as the silver capital of the world. The mining there had built fortunes, but also tensions. In 1892, labor disputes exploded. The miners were fed up with poor conditions and low pay and went on strike. Things got violent because you couldn't just strike.
Right.
They thought they owned you, and so you best get your butt back to work. Explosives were set off and destroyed the Frisco mill, and federal troops were called in. So this is a time when we put our federal troops, our own army, against our citizens.
Oh, that hasn't happened anytime recently.
Nope, not at all.
Doesn't sound familiar at all.
So, our times are not as unprecedented as we would like to believe. Then again, so that was 1892. And in 1899, miners again went on strike, this time blowing up Bunker Hill and the Sullivan Mill. Martial law was declared and hundreds were jailed in a makeshift prison called the Bullpen.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. So they sent in the federal agents again, put them in the bullpen. And as time went on, all of them were later released, but none of them got their jobs back. They were all replaced with other workers. Mm-hmm. But the mission was not a complete loss. They did improve some of the working conditions and a little boost in pay for other people, not the ones that were striking in the first place. But it did make some differences. All right, now let's talk about how the town has burned down twice.
Oh.
First in 1890, when a blaze tore through the wooden downtown, because back in the day, the 1800s, Wild West, everything was built with timber. And
you had to put everything up really quickly for these towns, and the fastest way to do it is the timber.
And that was the fastest way to get it burnt down.
Absolutely. All those kerosene lamps.
Kerosene lamps and wood. It was just a setup.
Yep.
Dry timber.
You got Zeke coming in with his kerosene and
a cigarette.
Drinking the kerosene.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking the cigarette. Kerosene and laudanum. You forget that you have a lit cigarette in your hand.
And a little whiskey, too. So after 1890, where the blaze tore down the entire downtown area, the town was rebuilt with brick and stone. But the real inferno came in 1910, the infamous Big Burn. So it was fires throughout, little tiny fires. I shouldn't say tiny. Smaller fires in Montana, Idaho, and Washington were happening. And then all of the sudden, the wind turned just the right way, and it became one giant fire. It was the largest forest fire in the history of the United States.
Wow.
It scorched 3 million acres across Idaho, Montana, and Washington, and Wallace was nearly wiped out off the map because of the flames. So if anyone's seen Dante's Peak, which is filmed in Wallace, Idaho, you can see that it's a narrow little town between mountains, really. You got one side of you is a big mountain, and the other side of you is a big mountain, and in between is just this cute little town in the valley there.
I know why this fire happened.
Why?
DEI.
Definitely. It was because we let women and people of color work there. So had it just been white men, we'd have been safe.
Yep.
Although I think it was just white men, but from what I can tell.
Yeah.
So this big burn, as they call it and refer to it in 1910, a lot of the brick buildings did survive, but most of the town burned. And out of this big giant fire came a hero and a name that lasts to this day in the firefighting circles and in the town of Wallace, Idaho. Ed Pulaski was a U.S. forest ranger.
Bless the forest rangers.
Yes. And Pulaski led 40 firefighters during this big burn into an abandoned mine tunnel to escape the firestorm. He stood at the entrance with a pistol because people were terrified to be locked in this mine, right? Well, the fire's burning all around them.
Yeah.
And now I can't get out. It really feels like a dead end and you need to escape. But he had taken all these forest workers in there for their safety. He had, before this, the fires picked up and turned into one, he made a stop at home where he had a wife and daughter, told them, where to go to be safe when their home was at risk. And then said goodbye and said, I may never see you again.
Oh.
This may be the last time I see you. He scooped up all the forest rangers, went to this abandoned mine. And while he was there, he's using his own hat to scoop up water and pour it on the structure to keep it from burning, keep it cool, keep it wet. He did this all through that night. The whole mine is filled with thick, dark smoke. They can barely breathe. So, of course, the men are trying to get out. They feel like they can flee better than stay there. And 6 of them did leave. None of them did survive. And at one point, he turns his gun on the men and says, if any one of you try to leave this mine again, I will shoot you right where you stand. And so no one tried to escape again.
Oh, wow.
Everyone in the mine lived.
Yeah.
He saved all of their lives by keeping them hostage in this mine. He worked all through the night with his broken axe where he was with his hat and water. And then he had his axe, which became dull because he's using this for 15 hours trying to keep anything that was getting hot. He'd just smash it down with his axe.
Do you know where the water came from?
Just from the lake and river pools in the area from the mine. So there was already water there. So he's scooping it out and trying to keep the structure wet. In the morning, they thought he was dead. So they said, oh, boss is dead. And then he says, the hell he is.
I love this guy.
Well, he's barely even conscious, but he says the hell he is.
He's like, I can't sleep for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah. So by late morning, they're able to escape the mine and drag him out, barely conscious. He manages at some point to walk himself haggard down the street all the way home to his wife. He and the men require medical care, medical attention. As you know, at that time they didn't go to a hospital. They didn't go to a burn center, a trauma center.
What are they going to do for smoke inhalation at that day and age?
So,
or burns.
A lot of them lived with lifelong damage, including Pulaski, and none of them were compensated by the Forest Service. None of them were compensated for missing work. Pulaski was off for an entire year before he could return to the Forest Service, which he did, because he was dedicated. None of them, their medical care was covered whatsoever. So they paid out of pocket for any medical care, probably a chicken or two, I don't know. So basically abandoned in their time of injury, doing their job.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It is terrible. And then also Pulaski was never given like a promotion, honors, anything by the Forest Service.
He just saved all these men.
Yeah, he was uneducated and they treated him as such. So uneducated that he designed a whole tool that is used today in firefighting called the Pulaski tool. It is the pick that, the one that looks like an axe plus a pick.
Yeah.
That he designed that.
Really?
Based off of this fire and the work he was doing to keep the fire at bay from their safe spot. The axe wasn't working and he really wished he had these other tools. So he created this tool that is still used today. Wow. There are certain versions of it, some heavier, some wider, blah, blah, blah. But it is called the Pulaski tool. I even double checked with my son-in-law who's a firefighter. He's like, oh yeah, that's what we call it.
Oh, how cool.
To this day.
That's cool.
And not just in the Northwest, but nationwide.
You know what probably did not burn down? The train depot.
Yeah.
Because
it's probably marble.
No.
Oh.
The train depot in Wallace, Idaho is built with Roman brick from Stadium High School.
Mm-hmm.
So Stadium High School, if you guys remember when I talked about it before, if you've been on one of my tours, it was originally designed as a luxury hotel by the Northern Pacific Railroad, completely made out of brick. It's a beautiful castle on the hill. And the financial crisis of 1893 stopped the work. So they took some of those bricks and they built the train depots in Wallace, Idaho and Missoula, Montana. And those are the only places outside of Tacoma and Rome that you will see that Roman brick.
Now I have to go back because I visited this train depot not knowing that.
It is part of the same flesh.
Yes, that is crazy how it all ties together. Mm-hmm. And then additionally, the Forest Service did not honor Pulaski, but to this day, Idaho does. And they currently have a 725-foot paved trail in honor of Pulaski called the Pulaski Tunnel Trail. And it starts right at the tunnel where he saved all those men.
Oh, wow.
And kept the fire at bay. There is a wooden structure there that simulates the tunnel. Obviously, is not it. The original very much looks new, but so they honor him to this day as the hero that he is.
I like that. That's nice.
And it's funny too, a little sidebar about this town. So as we went around talking to people, because it was just such an interesting town. So basically we went on tours, we went to restaurants and bars and museums, and we spoke to people, and you'd get a little bit of a different tale. And the reason I even got really interested in this, because he has, there's different versions of this story. And so when I looked it up and got the official version, it's like a little bit of everything. But one person was like, he saved like 1,000 people, and he's just really amazing, blah, blah, blah. And so I start looking it up. It wasn't 1,000 people. It was, what did we say? 85 or something like that.
Oh, a little different.
Yeah. And then another story was talking about how he basically kidnapped these men and held them at gunpoint so they could continue to work after the fire.
Those are very different stories.
Yeah, right? But that's not anything I found.
Okay.
In real research, I found that just in folklore in the town. And I was like, oh, that's what made it fascinating to me. And then I was like,
interesting.
No, he's just really a hero.
Yeah.
Really a hero to his family, to his colleagues. And now to all the firefighters who use the Pulaski tool.
It.
All right. Moving on from Pulaski, because this town is rich in fun history. But before we move any further, we need to hear from our advertisers. Maybe they'll advertise the Pulaski tool.
That'd be interesting. Your very own firefighting tool.
Yeah. Now used at home.
Pickaxe on the other. That'd be useful.
All right. Welcome back. Now, Shay, I know you're wondering.
Where's the drama?
The brothels.
Yes, where's the brothels?
Yes, there
Love
were
me a brothel.
Yeah, there were not only brothels in Idaho. There were brothels until very recent history.
Right.
Yeah. Wallace, a red light district that operated openly until the mid 1990s.
Nice.
Had a active brothel running up into the mid 1990s. The town had a pragmatic approach: regulate it, tax it, and keep it discreet.
Thank you.
The Oasis Bordello Museum still stands today, frozen in the time from the 1980s. It's got 1980s furniture and decor.
Nice.
And it's a museum, and it's totally fun to watch. It's just frozen in time. You feel like you're just totally walking into an active brothel, but it is not.
I want to go to that.
No, you would love this town, Shay, because that's just one of the places. There's so many.
I mean, contrary to the opinion of somebody who left us a bad review, I actually do like museums.
Yeah.
I just, maybe some museums aren't as interesting to me as others.
Yeah. This one's very interesting. The history of it and how they made it, a safe and productive business within their town instead of this shady, dangerous business where people were being harmed. I'm sure people were harmed at the time, but from time to time, but for the most part, they made it they legitimized it.
Yeah.
And
that's a better way to keep people safe.
And well into the
great.
21st,
I love it.
20th century.
Sad that it's not still around.
So let's talk about the freeway. I-90 travels right on the edge of Wallace, Idaho. It used to drive right through Wallace, Idaho. As a child, we did this trip often. I'd go to see my family in Montana from Western Washington, and you'd be driving along I-90 doing the speed limit, and all of a sudden you're at a stoplight. You didn't take an exit ramp. You didn't need an on-ramp to get here, to get on there. It just took you through town. And there was a stoplight, and you stopped, and that's where you got your gas usually, because you had to stop anyway.
Right.
So in the 1970s, the Federal Highway Administration wanted to bulldoze Wallace, Idaho altogether.
What?
Because the freeway technically went through there, right? It'd be easy just to widen this. It was a two-lane road in Wallace, right? It goes from a 3-lane highway,
like 6
interstate,
lanes,
down to 6 lanes each way. or if you count both ways, and then down to just this little main street in this small town. So instead of going around it, the highway administration just wanted to bulldoze Wallace, Idaho, because if you put all those interstate lines or lanes through Wallace, Idaho, that would be the entire town.
Right.
It's that small. So, and it was easy for them because the road was already technically there. We can just follow that and we'll just wipe out Wallace. No one needs Wallace, Idaho.
No one needs to live there. It's fine.
But the local hero, Henry Magnuson, fought back. He used a newly passed National Environmental Policy Act to sue the federal government and won. The entire downtown was eventually placed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Oh, wow.
And the freeway was rerouted around the town. So it's up like on the hillside. Around the town. This took 21 years.
Wow.
21 years of holding off the federal government and completely waylaid their plan. So it took that long to get everything on the National Registry. They're pretty proud of this too. Everyone will talk about this when you visit their town. And there's, of course, the placards out there. But that's how they saved their town. Now you can't tear down these buildings and you have to go around. They did have to move one building, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the city hall. Had to move it over just a little bit, a few feet, so that the freeway could fit behind it and bypass essentially Wallace with just a freeway exit now.
I wouldn't be surprised if homes started disappearing from the historic register.
I didn't see any houses.
I'm just talking about if buildings in the United States that are on the historic register in the way of progress start
in the future here
disappearing from the historic register so that they can be torn down.
Right, because we're not normal times.
No.
So for decades, driving through Wallace, Idaho, and stopping at that one stoplight in town, the stoplight had become a personality of the town. So it was when the freeway was all open for business, they took down the stoplight. They put it in a coffin. They had a procession, a ceremony, the whole thing.
For the stoplight. That's so good.
They had a whole funeral for that. I know, this town is amazing. But they did not bury or cremate the stoplight. Thank goodness you can still see it in a museum in town where they show the last stoplight. It's pretty fun.
That's cool. I like that.
And now for the cherry on top. Wallace is officially, and I don't care what Shay says, the center of the universe. In 2004, the mayor declared it so. Why? Because you can't disprove it. Right. That's why there are so many. You cannot disprove that it's the center of the universe. So it's a whole landmark. There's a street sign. They have a manhole cover emblazoned with the center of the universe logo, and the town loves it.
I love that.
It's part of the personality there. So what do you think of Wallace as a town that survived fire, floods, labor wars, legal battles, and even a freeway threat?
I love it. I feel like this is a commercial for Wallace, Idaho. Visit beautiful Wallace, Idaho.
I'm going to continue with that, actually. Okay. It's got silver, scandal, and science fiction level swagger. And thanks to Ed Pulaski, it's got one of the most iconic tools in firefighting history.
Love it.
So next time you're driving through Idaho, take that exit in Wallace, Idaho, and spend a couple hours at least there. One of the things, you've got brick streets, you've got great museums. They really treasure their history and keep it on full display. You can take a tour of the silver mine, which is very educational.
I love that.
There's some great restaurants. I highly recommend the Fainting Goat.
Ooh, I like that name.
Farm to table, organic. Everything there was delicious. Their craft cocktails, their appetizer, everything. So good. The dessert. We each even ordered a dessert, which we don't do. And we weren't hungry and we shouldn't have, but we couldn't help ourselves because the food was so good. The conversation. Make sure you have conversations with people while you're there. They're very unique. And one thing I've noticed, and I was thinking about later, might be where we were and where we spent our time, but I feel like it's a very unique place full of transplants. There's a lot of people there that either visited and just loved the vibe and thought, I could really see myself living here, which I could too. It was just a really fun place. But it seemed to be a bunch of transplants.
Okay.
Quirky, hippie,
nice,
different kind of people that transplanted there. And that could be because I was in town and those were the people in town. I was thinking about maybe the people that kind of stay in their homes and less time in town might be long-termers, but really business owners and things like that were transplants. And it's just a unique, quirky town. And I highly recommend it. And that's my story.
I love it. Well, now I'm actually interested in Wallace, Idaho. Before, it was just a punchline of a joke on my stadium tour.
Yeah. And I was a little worried about stopping. I was planning on getting gas and getting the heck out of there because, our northern Idaho knowledge is...
Oh, militias and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was so not that.
We're like, what kind of flags are going to be on the trucks in this town?
It was quite the opposite while we were there. I didn't see any of those flags.
Wow.
The vibe I got from people talking, we didn't explicitly... Only one place someone explicitly gave their political opinions, and it was not of the mega realm. And I got the vibe that was not a town that was really...
That's good to hear.
Really red. So it was really, it's just so much personality and history. I was sad to only spend 24 hours.
Jody, what you and I need to do is we need to sit down with a map and we need to point out all these towns that we've talked about.
Yeah.
That
the fun quirkies.
Either one of us or neither of us have been, and actually finally do a road trip through the Pacific Northwest to see all the towns that we have talked about.
I think we should spend a tour. We should develop a tour.
Well, also we want to do
we can invite our fans, our listeners.
There we go. We also want to do the night in the Deer Lodge.
Yes, I did on this trip get to visit Deer Lodge Prison.
Did you get a tour?
We did not go in for the tour. On our way there, when we stopped and kind of walked around it, it wasn't open.
Did you go to a gift shop at least?
No, it wasn't open during the time we were there. And then so we thought we'd do it on our way back. But it was, a week in Yellowstone, I was ready to hit the road and come home.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad I did, because we probably would not have stopped in Wallace, Idaho.
Yeah.
Which is a whole new fun experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, go to Wallace, Idaho. Spend some money.
Spend some money. Go with your mind open to just learn so many quirky things.
I love it.
So many characters.
Mm-hmm. It's like a road trip.
Yeah, little road trip.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And remember, we could really appreciate your listenership. Go leave us a nice 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you'd like to help us out more, if you like what you hear, regardless of our certain political opinions.
Or maybe because of.
Don't
sell it short. Recruit the like-minded.
Like Trump recruits Epstein's Isle. I didn't have the... I didn't have the pleasure... No, what was it? The privilege of going to Epstein's Island.
Oh, he said the privilege.
It's kind of like when he was being deposed about the grabbing women's genitals thing. And he's like, yeah, stars have done that for, like a million years. Unfortunately, or fortunately. He just says this stuff out loud.
They used to do that when America was great. Can we get back to that? When fondling was fun for everyone?
Yeah. These uppity women just take getting groped just so seriously. They should take it as a compliment.
That's what I was always told.
Yeah, if a man grabs you by the genitals, it's because he likes you.
Yeah.
You should take it as a compliment. He thinks you're attractive.
Flattered.
And wants to bone you.
You know what I take that as?
I'm going to punch you.
Yeah. Are you a Neanderthal?
Anyway, there was our political rant. This podcast has gotten too political. Just wait.
History is political. Yeah. There's no way around it.
And just wait. If our new project gets off the ground, just wait for the political.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you. Remember, you can go to rainydayrabbitholes.com. Thank you to our amazing maven of marketing, Letha Davis, for working so hard on our new website that, who knows, might be up by the time this gets released in our marketing. So if our website looks significantly superior to what it used to look like, it's not because of us. It's because of our fabulous Letha. So thank you, Letha.
It's kind of because of us. It's because Letha likes our podcast so much. She is helping us out. So, by proxy, it's us.
There you go. It's all us. It's so hot. All right. Bye.
Bye. See you down the rabbit hole.